Welcome to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined, with your host, the one and only Betsy Tinnervin. On this podcast, we bring you people who share their personal journeys in life, business, and of course, real estate. Get motivated, inspired, and priceless information from entrepreneurs, community leaders, and realtors who are thriving. Now let's get raw and real. Here's Betsy.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinnervin, happy to be bringing you the raw and real of life, business, and as always, real estate. We have an amazing show today. Today, we're actually going to be talking about women versus men in the real estate industry. And it's crazy how things work out. We had a slight cancellation of one of our guests today, so I totally redid the show because I have some amazing firecrackers in the house and then a great addition that provides a service that is an essential in the real estate process. So first in the house, I have Miss Jamie Garlock. She's been in the industry over 20 years, building a team in Tampa, recruiting all over the place. She also does some speaking events, and I have just kind of fallen in love with her on a friendship level. She is married, friends. And so I just love her. She's great. She has a Spitfire personality. So she's going to be representing my women's side today. Woo-hoo. How's it going, Miss Jamie?
Oh my gosh, amazing. I'm super excited about this because we shall see what happens.
I'm so excited too. As she's looking at her counterpart who is filling in for me today. He's amazing. I found out some great things about Mr. Peter Carr, who's also an LPT agent this past week. He did tons of like radio and TV stuff and has all these old school flicks. So during some of the reels that we will post on the LPT All-Star Radio Facebook page, you'll get to see Peter Carr freshly shaved back in the day with his baby face, shooting some news clicks. So Peter's been in the hospitality sales industry over a decade, just jumped into real estate. And of course, he is on our team, the Sunshine State Investments team. What's going on, Peter?
You know, just having a great day here and excited to kind of have this conversation, men versus women here in real estate, you know.
Are you excited about that?
Of course.
That's awesome. So Peter's going to be representing the guys, and then he is going to have backup. I have William Trump with Trump Insurance. He is actually the owner and president of the company. Obviously, insurance is such an essential piece of our real estate transaction, so you're not going to want to miss his insights on the market today and getting insurance. Been in business over 20 years. We're so excited to have you here, Mr. William.
I'm really excited to be here, but I'd like to make it clear that I'm going to be on the sidelines for this.
Oh, okay.
Not taking any sides.
Okay, well, maybe we can vote, right?
There you go.
Okay, cool. So today we're really going to dive deep into just really getting to know the industry of real estate, right? It's not even It's not even a women versus men thing. It is just like understanding real estate and really understanding the personality traits in the real estate industry that are critical when doing a real estate transaction, even leading into insurance. So I am going to throw out a couple questions for you guys just to see if you know any of the answers. So question number one is, are there more female or male real estate agents in the U.S.? Jamie.
Oh, wow.
Female or male?
I'm going to say female.
Peter Carr, female or male?
I'm going to agree with Jamie and say female.
William?
Female.
And you guys are correct. There is 56% of real estate agents in the industry are female, according to NAR, in the United States, and 44% of real estate agents are male. And actually, a fun fact that I found was since 1920, life as a real estate agent really provided the most flexible schedule, hence why there's more women than men. How do we feel about that?
Yeah, I'm kind of a masculine female, so perfect question, right? Yeah, I do think that it affords us, more opportunities as a mother, and in my household, we're both, kind of equal on the workload, so to say. So, yeah,
provide some flexibility.
Total flexibility. I love it because, my husband's active duty Marine, and it gives us a chance to, take off and go whenever we want without me having to, ask a boss. And so
I love that.
I do love the flexibility of that.
That's great. And then also let's talk median age for a second. So median age of a realtor, I'm going to give you three choices. A, 35, B, 52, or C, 44. William, you get to go first.
I'm going to go 44.
44C, Peter Carr.
It used to be 52, and now it's 44. So
Okay.
I'm going 44C.
Jamie.
I think it's A. Was that 35?
A, 35. All of you are wrong. It is actually 52.
Oh!
So,
See, I almost leaned towards that, honestly.
yes,
But I
so-
thought, I can't go with the
and
guys.
Peter, you said it used to be.
I mean, I just heard some stats this past week that said that it dropped down. I think it was like 47 actually. So when you said 44, I was ready to jump on that,
So basically, it's crazy, right? So we have 56% of real estate agents are female, 44% are male, and then average median age is 52. Now, this is the last question I have for you
Wow.
guys. The last question is, who lists more homes, men or women? Jamie?
Oh, gosh, I have to go first again. I'm going to say men.
Okay. Peter?
I'm going to say men as well.
William?
I'm going to go against the grain and say women because they're the majority of the agents.
So men do list more homes.
Ah, hey.
Now the follow-up to this is, who lists higher priced homes, women or men? William?
I'm going to go women.
Peter?
That's got to be like a toss-up. That's pretty close. I'm going to probably go women on this one too.
Jamie?
I'm going to say men.
So I love this. And I love that Jamie and Peter are like so different. Jamie, women. Women list higher priced homes, men list more homes. I love that fist bump right there. They just gave each other a fist bump.
I was just
love
thinking
that.
because men don't list as many homes. So, maybe they try to go after the higher targeted prices.
Because women
That was
work
my
harder, right, Peter?
thinking. That's my theory.
Yeah,
Peter?
my wife is the hardest
Since
worker
they
I
take
know.
less,
I'll
they
tell
try
you
to
that
get
much.
more.
Peter wants to have a place to go sleep tonight, so that's cool. So it's just interesting, just kind of rolling this together. I think that I really just want to dive deep with you guys into your thought process about like the industry and being, a female or a male in the industry. And we'll get even insurance involved a little bit because I do think that personality types in this business are important. But I also think that people need to overcome stigmas that just simply aren't true. And I honestly don't feel that the industry is dominated one way or another. However, I do feel like we have attributes that are critical in what we do in the industry, and it makes us a really great team. So, Peter, I'm going to start with you. Obviously, we have more female real estate agents, but just kind of talk to the men out there about being a realtor and like what that's like just from a male perception.
Sure. I think being a realtor as a male, there are things that you don't even consider. I'll just take it kind of from the female perspective on that side of it too. But like when you host an open house, like you don't really think anything about safety. When you go and door knock, you don't really think that much about safety. When you go out on listings from somebody you just met from TikTok or Instagram, things that women have to be more concerned with. And I've just seen that through people that I've worked with or posts like, hey, does anyone want to tag along? Is there a new agent that actually like wants to? Because I think safety is critical. Like we do put ourselves in situations where we're all bubbly and outgoing, as realtors, but making sure that you do things to protect yourself, I think is one of the biggest differences between men and women.
This is why I love Peter, because that's something I never would have thought of. And he just like comes up with something fabulous. So Jamie, how do you feel kind of just being a female in the industry? You can speak to the listeners in any capacity, maybe someone that's thinking about being an agent, just what it's like to be a female in the industry. Like the floor is yours, sister.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the flexibility of it, being a mom and having that flexibility, being able to be present for your family, I think that's important. And somebody looking to get into real estate, that might be a great attribute for them to add, either as a part-time second career or like me, I just dove in full time. So I think it's important to not just think about the safety aspect, which an alpha female like me, I don't worry about that too much, but there are people that I know that do worry about that a lot. So that's important. But I think going back to the flexibility, that's been really great for my family. And in addition to that, the amount of income, sky's the limit. If you want to be, a part-time agent, 30 grand a year, whatever that looks like for you, that works. But if you want to be an agent like me that sells 100 plus homes a year, you can do that too. And the income level is, as high as you want it to be.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that flexibility, safety. And then Mr. William in the insurance industry, I did not bring insurance stats, but you work with a lot of agents. And then obviously in 20 years, just kind of being in sales. How is that in the insurance realm being a male?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that over the last really 10 years, our agency has shifted, our industry has shifted quite a bit. You see a lot more female business owners, agency owners, a lot more producers. when I started 25 years ago, it was very, the men did the sales and the women did the service, and that is definitely not the case now. There's a lot more diversity in our workplace. And I think that adds a lot because as we were just sitting here talking, I was thinking of, I've used all female real estate agents. And I think it's because, my wife is the one that's really concerned with the details. I'm like, well, will this place keep rain out while I'm sleeping? And that's the extent of but it's like, is there a good size laundry room? Is there a good size, kitchen and things that are, so it's kind of interesting. I've never, thought of it until now is like, we've always used female real estate agents because my wife is the decision maker when it comes to.
Well, we are going to come back after the break. And if anyone wants to contact you, Mr. William, could you give everyone your phone number, please?
Yeah, it's William Trump at Trump Insurance, and it's 727-209-2886.
Peter Carr, LPT agent, throughout those digits.
Yeah, it's 513-253-9150.
And Jamie Garlock, LPT agent as well, throughout that phone number.
910-545-7676.
After the break, we're going to talk about negotiating and the difference between men and women in the real estate industry. We're going to take a quick break. You are not going to want to miss segment 2. Pop in those earbuds, download the iHeartRadio app, and we'll catch you after the break.
The best comp plans ever and stock and revenue share, but if we're not closing real estate transactions, all of that is worthless because ultimately everything starts with a real estate transaction, which starts with a consumer. And so we wanted to arm our agents with the absolute best technology and best marketing tools to do more real estate. And that's, again, I think a big differentiator. I think very few brokerages really sit down and say, how do we provide tools to make sure that our agents can be more productive, sell more real estate, win more listings, win at more listing appointments, help more buyers find that home, and we're very focused on that. And so while we have the best comp plans and the best ways for agents to generate wealth and earn, we also have the best tools, and more importantly, I would say have the best tools to help you be successful in real estate.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin. Happy to be with you on this weekend, friends, bringing you the raw and real of life, business, and as always, real estate. This show is powered by LPT Realty. Robert Palmer makes all of this possible. All of our LPT agents and then all of our catalysts and connectors in Tampa Bay, the business owners that really contribute to a real estate transaction are always guests on our show. If you're interested in being on our show, you can contact me at 813-609-0229 or visit our LPT Realty All-Star Radio Show Facebook page. Again, we are happy to announce that I have been doing the show for almost a year. And so we are actually going to drop like 60 episodes, all 60. So I've spent the last year just collecting all the data, editing all the shows. We're going to do a year recap. I'm happy to say, and I'm sure John, our producer, is going to laugh at this, is as I listened to show 1, I'm not really sure what I was saying on show 1. I've gotten pretty good at the show. Show 1 was a little rough for Betsy. I think I said Tampa Realty Show, awesome, next clip, and then I didn't even know what to do. So I want to give a shout out to all the listeners that have just become religious listeners. I appreciate you. I love you. But I want to give a tip to everyone listening as well, that if you want to get good at something and you want to perfect a craft, it takes time, consistency, and discipline. And I was not good in the beginning, so I'm just grateful for everyone that's participated in the shows and listened to the shows, because now I feel like we do bring you really great content. And so today, doing a little men versus women in the real estate industry, not in a negative capacity, but really just getting the perceptions of what it's like for females and males in the industry, and then bringing in Mr. William Trump, who has an insurance agency. So I have Jamie Garlock kind of representing the women. I love her. She's just a fire starter, LPT agent. Peter Carr, great guy, probably has more radio and TV experience than I do. LPT agent as well. And then again, Mr. William Trump for insurance. So this segment, we're going to dive deep into negotiating. And I kind of think that negotiation skills have been blanketed in a way that are not real. You don't have to be aggressive to be a good negotiator. So, Peter, I kind of want to start with you, and I really want you to explain your approach when negotiating from a male's perception for your clients.
Sure. So I think negotiation is truthfully like a skill and sometimes even an art form of how you approach the conversation initially with your clients, whether that's on the listing side of things and negotiating why you're the best, to list someone's house, or on the buyer side of how can I put my buyer in the best possible outcome and what is reasonable? Because I think sometimes our clients want the world, of course, right? And they want to pay $50,000 less than asking price. And is that truly reasonable? So coming at it with some facts and figures, depending on what is important to your client or from the emotional side of it as well. And then I think one of the biggest keys to negotiation truly is silence. So when you ask a question, leave time for them to answer it, whether you're working with another agent on the other side, as well, when you're trying to actually get, what your clients want. What do you think about this? And then just, listen. So
I love that. You're great. That's why I said, hey, sure, you can join my team. No problem. I think that's great. I think that your perception is good as well. And I think it's going to be funny because I kind of know Jamie's personality. So I'm going to ask her the same question from a female perception. Then we'll kind of talk about it after that. But Jamie, how do you feel as a female negotiating? Kind of what is your strategy? What is your approach?
Yeah, I'm a pretty straight up person. And so I think asking questions, I'm the opposite. Like with my clients, let them answer. But flipping that to the other agent, it's like, hey, my client is thinking about making an offer. Can you tell me more about this property? Tell me stuff that isn't in the MLS. Or if I see something that's kind of haywire, I'll ask the questions to the agents before I tell them we're going to make an offer, because I feel like the more information that you can get, the better position that your client is in to make their offer. If you know that a seller is wanting to sell their home because, hey, they're relocating and they have to leave in 30 days, well, that's negotiating power. So I feel like the more questions you ask from the other side, the more answers that you'll get that better assist your client for making those offers.
So, William, do you find this interesting?
Very, very much so. Yes.
Yeah. So it's funny when I thought about this show, right? I didn't know exactly how it was going to play out. I don't always really have a plan. Okay. But it's funny to hear their different perception, right? Because
Absolutely.
both of them are really great negotiating strategies.
Absolutely. And we always end up on the backside of that transaction when all the negotiating's complete and it's done and they're on to those next steps. So it's intriguing to hear for sure.
So on the insurance side, there's not a whole lot of negotiating, but there is that setting expectation piece, which I think both of them touched on. So do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's an important thing to talk about, especially in today's climate where we're seeing, rapidly increasing rates. There's instances where you might have a mortgage broker that plugs in a number into the good faith estimate that's grossly off of what right off the top of your head it's going to be. So we try to do a good job at that. Obviously, there's some missing pieces sometimes when you have a brand new, newly negotiated deal where you don't have all the inspections. You might not have all the data to provide that accurate quote. But we really do the best we can to give them the number that we really think it's going to come out to, so they can prepare themselves for, you don't want someone getting too far down the path and then realizing they can't afford the insurance. So,
well, and I also feel like the biggest thing that I want the listeners to understand when it comes to lending and insurance is make sure you're comparing apples to apples. So when you get a interest rate quote or you get an insurance quote, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to go over here because it's cheaper. Okay, well, what does it provide? What does it entail? How many points are on the front end? Is it a direct to lender? Is it a broker? Same thing with insurance. Like a lot of people, the other thing that is really nice, and shout out to Jen Spinelli for inviting you here, because I know you guys have a great relationship. I know her a little bit, actually. Yeah, I know her. I know her. I speak to her more. She's a favorite on my phone. You know what I mean? Jen Spinelli, again, is my partner with the Sunshine State Investments team, and she's done a lot of business with William Trump Insurance. And so, again, kind of going back to that, it's like when you work with someone that owns their own company as well, what level of customer service? So even if I pay a couple $100s or more for insurance, which I'm not saying you would quote me that, I would rather pay that to have someone's cell phone number than have to call a 1-800 number.
Yeah, I think that's a big importance because a lot of times their brains don't automatically go to when I have a claim. And that's what we try to kind of drill into our customers. Sure. If you don't know who the person is you're going to contact post-claim, when that fire just got put out or that flood is finally receding, there's a problem there. So we talked to a lot of our clients that have existing, it's like, well, who would you call in the event of a claim? And they don't have an answer for that with their current agent. So we really strive hard at our agency. We've got 15 team members to really make a connection to where those folks feel very confident that they know who they're going to count on if, things go bad.
And Jamie, I kind of want to come back to you with the whole like negotiation thing really quick, because I think it's interesting. What I hear you and Peter kind of saying is very much male and female personality traits. Women are planners. So you planned the questions and you get the answers, where men are just kind of like, okay, here's the situation, but it's both great advantages.
Yeah.
So what suggestion would you give anyone out there that's looking to get into the industry as a female, as to just a good piece of advice? Like, here's what I would do, or here's how I am, or this has worked for me, or this has been a failure, or anything.
Well, the first piece of advice, they should call me. But secondly, I feel like
She's so direct.
be prepared, like financially be prepared, all things, right? Like, you don't have an income right away. You need to be prepared for that. Prepare your family for that. It takes a little while to get a client, and just really setting the right mindset and being a self-motivator. You know, you have to every day get yourself up out of that bed and say, you know what, I'm going to be great in real estate today. There's not somebody constantly agging you on to be great. You have to be great yourself. And so I think mindset's going to be huge. I think who you align yourself with is going to be huge. And we have amazing agents here on this talk show that could help you along that journey. Yeah, I think mindset's going to be the biggest thing, and to be prepared financially.
And Peter, tell everyone really quick, just kind of, I think sometimes I have made the mistake. I think now it's very helpful to me that I have a partner and we have different personalities, but like taking a backseat approach and kind of listening gives you power. Why is that?
Because I think sometimes we're so quick to react on the listening side of it. You know, sometimes we listen, we're not even listening. We're just thinking about what we're going to say next necessarily.
I never do that.
You know, you're just like, oh, I want to jump in here. Or I want to jump in and add this little tidbit. But in reality, if you can stop and pause and maybe step back and survey the whole situation, like, it gives you some power. You know, a lot of times in negotiation, the first person that talks like ends up giving up more on that side of it. I think it's a great approach, Jamie, that like
it's a skill.
questions,
It's a skill to have that pause.
Before I shoot too many shots, we're going to take a break. Mr. William Trump, if someone wants to get in contact with you for insurance, give those digits out.
727-209-2886. Trump
Peter
Insurance.
Carr, LPT Realty.
All right, it's 513-253-9150.
And Jamie Garlock, LPT agent.
910-545-7676.
And if you are listening today, we have a first-time homebuyer class. It's going to be starting at 11:45, so you still have time to get there. Crossover Church, we're going to do a free class. You get a free copy of our book. If you want any more information in regards to that, it's 813-609-0229, and we will catch you after the break.
Biggest win, I think, with the dual path and having these two models is that now we become a brokerage for everyone. No matter where you are in your real estate career, what your goals are today. Maybe today you're not interested in recruiting or having a team, but then one day you wake up and you are. Well, if you're at the wrong brokerage to do that, you're locked in. Where in our model, we're not holding anyone hostage. We're not tying anyone in. You can move between the different comp plans and have that success and really achieve whatever your definition of success is under one brokerage platform, being LPT.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin. Thank you for tuning in today. Women versus men in the real estate game, talking all things personalities, negotiating. We're going to talk a little about disc assessment. We have an insurance rep in the house today. But as always, I am your host, Betsy Tinervin, bringing you the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. I want to thank Robert Palmer and the executive team at LPT Realty for making this show possible. They focus on marketing and letting their agents shine with billboards and power packs and radio and all of the things. So if you are looking to buy a home or list your current home, I have two amazing LPT agents on the show today, and you should definitely contact them because we can hit 14% of buyers with our listing power pack that no other agent can even attempt to communicate with. So we're going to dive into more of the compassionate side and speak more about buyers for a second. Jamie Garlock here, 20 years in the industry. She's building a team in Tampa. She's an LPT agent. I have Peter Carr. He spent over a decade in the sales industry. He's on the Sunshine State Investments team, again, LPT agent. And William Trump with Trump Insurance. He is the president and the owner of the company. He's officially the CEO today. right, Mr. William?
Yes, ma'am.
And he is providing insurance to all of our agents who are trying to complete the real estate transaction and truly provide their clients a one-stop shop situation. So we're going to talk about buyers. I have made an announcement that we have a first-time homebuyer class today and every Sunday in May. So if you are interested in that class, we'll give you a way to contact us at the end of this segment. But first-time homebuyers, I feel like it's a different vibe. They have no idea that they need insurance. They have no idea what an inspection is. So let's go again with our people, Jamie and Peter here. And we'll go with you first this time, Jamie. So what's your approach with first-time home buyers from a female's perception?
Wow. Well, again, I keep bringing up the fact I'm a mother. I'm a mother of 2 adult boys. And so I try to place myself as like, they don't know what they're doing. So I've got to be Mama J, And so I take really, it's like the baby bird, right? You kind of take them under your wing and you make sure that like they're not going too crazy with their budget. They're not doing all the things they shouldn't do as a first-time home buyer. So I really treat them with like that kind of care, like a parent care, right? So I don't want these new first-time home buyers that are in their 20s to go buy $1 million home. Of course, unless they're a doctor, but they're not going to be because they're 20 and haven't went to college and all that. So, I try to look out for their best interests and ask them what their long-term goals are. Like, are you staying in the area? Are you moving away? Are you having a baby? Like, what are their long-term goals? And then I can be Mama J.
Okay. So Mama J approach, which is interesting. I'm turning to my buddy William, who we've evaluated them here, right? We haven't picked sides. We're just observing. So I think that's interesting because her personality was very strong in the negotiation piece. Mm-hmm. And now it's totally different on the first-time home buyer piece.
Yeah, I believe you got to be Mama Bear, right? You want to make sure that these young people aren't, we call it jumping in on a grenade, like that they get into something that they can't handle. So I think that's an area where you have to be extremely firm to make sure that you don't have that, 22, 23-year-old that's homeless in 3 years. So
for sure. And that's where, again, it comes in to explain all of the pieces like insurance, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, I couldn't agree more. So Peter Carr, from a male perception, when you have a first-time home buyer or you have someone new that doesn't know anything about real estate and they're a buyer now, what's kind of your approach?
I gotcha. I got the buyer part. I like Mama J's approach totally.
Okay.
I think it's so important to be nurturing and really try to understand like your client's needs while also offering the industry expertise that you have of like just because the lender, if you're using Rocket Mortgage or something else, right? Like one of these online lenders, right? That they come with so quick and they're like, oh, this is what I want to do. And you're like, great, they haven't verified your actual funds yet. They haven't, done this. Like, let's look at something that's actually reasonable for you. So I think it's really guiding them through that process, treating them, like this is the first time and here are other expenses that you're going to have. Because I think a lot of times with first-time home buyers, you don't realize what you're going to actually have in closing costs at the end of the day with whether it's insurance and with title, with escrow. Like, you have all these other expenses. And then additionally, just on that side of it, don't go out and purchase a brand new car while we're under contract, right? Let's not do that until the day after you close.
Or purchase
right?
anything.
Or anything. Exactly. There we go. Yeah,
Matter of fact, don't even eat this week, okay? I know you got some ramen in there. Yeah. Just don't eat.
Mama J is going to invite you over for dinner. So
No, that's not happening.
Yeah, I think that what is interesting is that, I know that a lot of people, and both of you guys listen to me all the time, I have a big I drive the bus approach. So whether it's compassionate or it's not compassionate, whether it's an agent, it's a buyer, it's a seller, as long as I'm driving the bus in any type of transaction, I think you can take a more nurturing approach versus more a direct approach. But I still think like maintaining the control of the process when you have people that have not made decisions in the industry is what's really critical. And I honestly like both of the approaches. And I think something that will make me sit back and think after this show is Jamie, from a male's perception, when he said not asking the questions, listening, doing those things, how I can do that. And I hope for all the males out there listening, hearing the female, approach to some of those things is critical. So really, in reality, what do you guys do? So they've picked out the house, we've solidified funding, we've done all the things. Now we're out shopping and you get a list of 15 houses that the client wants to see. Jamie, what do you do?
No. We're not doing that today.
I love her.
So let's go ahead and
absolutely like
I am not doing that. Okay, that's
Okay.
not what I signed up for.
So what happened?
So I literally say, okay, great. You have 15 amazing homes that are on your list. Now here's what we're gonna do. I want you to pick the top 5. We're gonna go look at those top 5, and if you don't find your personal favorite home in those top 5, then we'll make another list out of the 10 that are left. But we'll make a list of 5 and put them in order. This is my very top one. We're going to see that first because you don't want to waste your time looking at houses all day on a Saturday when you can be at the beach, do you? No, neither do I. So make your list of 5.
So you kind of solidify the choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not showing 15 houses in one day. No.
and we talk about this also I create a funnel in a lot of the sales training that I do.
Yeah.
So you have this huge wide gap at the top. And
Yes.
you want to like minimize, the funnel, right? One, it's just really crazy for first time home buyers too, because then
They
they
don't
see
know.
15 homes, they're not even going to remember the first to the last, right? So Peter, Jamie's done the dirty work up front and
Yes.
said no. So now we're out showing.
I'm nice about it.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm mama.
Peter's going to show him
Yeah.
26.
Right.
I am not actually going. to
So
show the
Peter, now
26.
you're out and you're going through the process and you're with the first time home buyers. Like, what is important for you to point out when you get to the property, when you're talking to them throughout the experience, if they're a first time home buyer and they've never been through that? Like, how do you handle that?
Yeah, so I think it's their criteria, right? We've already talked through this, like to begin with. We got them down to 15, and now we got them down to 5. And so really highlighting that in each property, and then getting feedback after you go to each one. Hey, if this isn't the house you want to put an offer in, that first house, like let's get feedback on it, because then we can maybe realign. Maybe we go to the third house second instead of the second house, because in reality, we don't want to waste our entire day.
Right.
We don't want to waste their entire day looking at houses. Happy to take you through as many as you'd like, but it's better to look at the houses that you actually want. And when they're priced correctly, they're going pending in a couple days right now.
So now we have a situation, William, where we're ready. We've got them under contract. We've not seen 15, we've seen 5. We've walked them through. We're ready to go. We're under contract. Now we're doing inspections. So just for all the first-time homebuyers out there, we make sure that before appraisal is ordered and before we do all this insurance work, because we're nice to our vendors, we make sure we're going to pass the inspection period. And after the inspection period has passed, now we're going to order appraisal and we're going to, of course, get insurance quotes so we can get them back to the lender. So what do you do with these first-time homebuyers? And this is the first time they've ever even seen an insurance quote for a home in their life.
I think to kind of answer the question that you asked them too, I think it's important. One of my staff members came to me one time and said, I have this customer that's asking me a ton of questions, and it's important when somebody hires an agent, whether it's a real estate agent or insurance agent, that they're hiring us because we're the subject matter experts. So if you're working at a fast food restaurant and someone wants French fries, you don't tell them that they really would look better, or, what about the tater tots? You sell them the French fries. In our industry, it is our duty and our job to say, I don't think that you're going down the right path, whether it's, so to that, I think that's an important point to they hired us because we are the subject matter expert, and they should,
I love that.
establish a trust system.
That's awesome.
So I think that's an important, but going back to your original question is we really, really like to go over any flaws that are in the inspections, especially when it comes to a 4-point inspection, which, that's kind of, as you guys know, could make or break, and making sure that the easy stuff that can be fixed, we get on that immediately, because that can hold up a closing, and the hard stuff's hard conversation if it's roof or something to that effect.
Yeah, and I think it's really important if anyone is looking for insurance that they contact William Trump if they want real estate, Peter Carr and Jamie Garlock. You are going to have to tune in to the final segment in order to get their numbers one more time. If you missed segments 1 and 2, please turn to our LPT Realty All-Star Facebook page. And do not forget to download the iHeartRadio app, pop in those earbuds, and we'll catch you after the break. Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin. Happy to be here with you in the Sunshine State today, as I am from the Sunshine State Investments team and LPT Realty, always bringing you the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. Today, we did a women versus men in the real estate industry, the real estate game, and then we sizzled in some insurance. And of course, Jamie held her own. Jamie Garlock, 20 years in the industry, building a team in Tampa, as Peter Carr, another LPT agent, represented the male side. And then William Trump, who made it very clear with Trump Insurance he was not going to judge the two, as he probably wants to work with them both and do his job and provide amazing insurance for all of their clients. So we have talked about some amazing things. Just to give you a slight recap, in the beginning, we threw out some stats. 56% of real estate agents are female, 44% are men. And then we also kind of walked through, first of all, the median age of a realtor, which is 52 years old, that none of them knew. And then we talked a little bit about negotiating and the perceptions of men versus women. And then we jumped into a little bit of first-time homebuyer. But we're going to conclude the show today talking about the actual DISC assessment of a real estate agent. So it actually is D, moderately dominant with a decisive personality without being too pushy, highly influential, people-oriented, enthusiastic, sociable, and optimistic. Is that word vomit, or do you want to hear that me to run that back one more time? So it is a D. It's a decisive personality without being pushy, highly influential, people-oriented, enthusiastic, sociable, and optimistic. So we're definitely going to allow the three people on our panel today to just kind of talk about that and what is important to them in the industry, and how they've had their personality. You do not have to be a D personality, by the way. How they've applied and made their personality applicable to the real estate game. So Peter, set it off, kid.
Oh, I'm setting it off. All right. No, I think it totally makes sense that a D would be the most dominant personality in real estate. I think you really want to be personable. You want to have your clients, best interest in heart, and really get to know them and dive in, but also being the professional. I think Will hit on this a couple times in the last segment and even before that of we are the professionals. We are the subject matter expert. We're here to help guide you, especially if you're a first-time home buyer or, if this is your 15th time doing it. We're here to help you along the way with any questions you might have.
I love that. And I think that what's really great about this show is that we don't really jump on here and just talk about real estate stats. We allow the listeners to really see you guys as personalities. And I also think that it's okay. I have agents that come to me for coaching and training, and I have people, even clients. And sometimes it's okay for me to say, let me put you with someone that's a better fit. Because I feel like if you're a good fit for everyone, then you have no authenticity at all in who you are in the industry. So a lot of times I have to say, hey, you should probably call Jennifer about that, because my answer is going to be very raw and real. And other times she's like, hey, you need to step in, Betsy, and kind of bring that kind of Mama J, accountability piece, right? So Jamie, kind of just hearing from you, I think that they always say opposites attract, but I do think there are some females in the industry that can get along with other strong females. And that's what I really appreciate about you and I's relationship, is we're just very straightforward. Yeah. So just tell me about how you shine in the industry with your personality.
Yeah, I think that, again, being a strong high D personality female.
She said high D. She didn't say I'm a D. She said
I'm
high.
I'm 99%. I do get along well with other alpha females. And, sometimes that does work to my benefit, because people know that I'm just going to shoot it straight, right to the point. I'm the same way with my clients, with just a little bit more of a, Mama J vibe, come here, let me hold you and squeeze you. But I think that people always know that what I'm saying is to their best interest. My clients know that whenever I give advice or whatever, that I'm just going to shoot it to you straight, but I love you, even though I think you're making a horrible mistake. You can say things in this industry politely, even with a strong D personality. So I think it's just getting to the point, but being professional about it and making sure that people know what your motivation is. My motivation is to help buyers and sellers with their real estate. And so they know if I'm just shooting it straight, it's coming from a place of love.
I think that's awesome. And I also think, William, I kind of want your perception, because as a business owner of 20 years, you have 15 staff members. So you're not just you leading clients, but you're leading mini leaders to then lead clients as well. So from a leader perception, how do you use your personality type to lead and channel all of these people? It's we have to clone ourselves at least 50%. we would like 80.
Right.
That's always my goal. Can I get you to 80%
Right.
of what I do as a business owner or a team leader? So how do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think lead by example is the first thing I think of is making sure that everyone there knows where I stand, what we expect for our clients, and the type of experience we want to provide them. Our marketing strategy at Trump Insurance is a one sentence. It's be so good with customer A that they send you customer B. And we instill that. That's the only thing we do. And we got to make sure that we play that card very heavily and that we protect it. So we're very sensitive to the experience that someone has when they call Trump Insurance, that they get. We call it, if you ask anyone there, if you called there right now and say, what do you guys sell there? They'll probably say the warm fuzzies, because it's really the experience we try to have. That, and I think also with our current situation is sympathy. We're getting a lot of people that are calling that are having massive rate increases, or someone that's calling that thinks that their new home they're going to buy is a $1,500 premium and it might be a $3,000 premium, and all of a sudden their DTI is off, and is taking the second to be like, I'm sorry that we're going through this and we're going to do the best we can to help you. So I think sympathy is a big thing in our industry. To you guys' point, to listening and being sympathetic to what's going on. $1,500 to one person is $15,000 to another. So
I love that. And Peter Carr, final thoughts today.
Man, this was just such a great show. I can't believe I got to meet Will over here and, Mama J. I mean, this was great. This was just so nice to kind of show a little bit more of the personality side of it, even though it was, male realtors versus female. But I think we mixed it up a little bit. But all in all, I think it's you hit on it too, Betsy, finding the right realtor to work with that your personalities kind of connect, I think is always the best clients to work with, personally.
Jamie Garlock, final thoughts, sister.
Jamie Garlock. Wow. Yeah, I think, to caveat off what you said, I feel like it's very important to make sure that you're working with people that want to work with you. You find a client, and if they're just disgruntled and, and it's not a good fit, help them find a realtor that's going to fit with them better. But if they're a great client, it's always a great marrying, right? When you can help somebody with their home ownership dreams or selling a house or whatever that looks like. I just think personalities are important. And yeah.
I love that.
I agree with you, Peter.
Wow. We
oh
agreed.
my
We
gosh.
agreed. End of the
Did
show.
You get
Full
that,
show.
Jen? Wait, you guys agree? No, seriously, you do agree?
Yeah, we're a lot alike, I think.
We are. I think so too.
Yeah.
And also, did you guys find a couple of today's facts interesting and your responses interesting?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
And William, what did you think about just listening to the different responses?
I expected a little bit more tension, so I'm a little disappointed from that perspective. But no, it was great to have a conversation and get a perspective that I don't always get, right? So from an insurance perspective, once again, we're typically dealing with, this is the next step, and we don't see the negotiating steps and the type of personalities that go into, the initial transaction. So I think that that's really great. And I think, to your point, Jamie, trust in your professional. You hired them to do this job and get you through that process, and they are the subject matter expert. So I think that and building that trust is up to us to make sure we do a good job with that and keep it.
110%. Yes. And if anyone is looking for an active marketing plan to sell their home, Miss Jamie Garlock, could you give your phone number? Because if you text her, she will deliver one to you personally.
Yes, I sure will. Thanks, Betsy. My number is 910-545-7676.
And if you are looking as a buyer and you would like Peter Carr's 7 home buyer strategies to get a lower interest rate in this market, Peter, could you give them your phone number and you can personally get a magazine from Peter?
Perfect. Thanks, Betsy. It's 513-253-9150.
If any real estate agent is looking to connect with a Stellar Insurance Group or anyone out there looking for a homeowner's insurance policy, Mr. William Trump.
William Trump, 727-209-2886.
I can't thank you guys enough for being here today. I have some shows and it's great and it flows and it's over in 2 seconds. And then I have other shows and it's okay, we're only on segment 3 or we're on segment 4. And not that anyone is better than anyone else. I just feel like the value that you guys provided today in regards to negotiating and first-time home buyers and just being a realtor and kind of going through that personality assessment. Obviously, LPT Realty takes pride in its culture. And what we love about our culture at LPT Realty is that it doesn't matter whose team you're on or what downline you're in. in, but we all want to work together. And actually in the lobby before the show started, I said, hey, Jamie, how's that new office space? She's like, I don't know. You want to come with me? You want to go? And so I love the factor that there's other agents in our neck of the woods, and we do not see each other as competition. We see each other as providing value and strength to one another. So I thank you all for being here today. If you guys are still interested in attending that first-time homebuyer class, you have time to make it. It is about 10 o'clock, and it starts at 11:45 at Crossover Church. You can text me 813-609-029. And until next time.
Thanks for listening to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined. We hope this episode motivated and inspired you. And don't forget to rate and review us. Thanks again for listening to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast with Betsy Tinnervin.